June's Pride Month looking much different this year, with no joyous in-person events celebrating the triumphs and recognizing the struggles of the LGBTQ community.
York University professor Jen Gilbert joins us this morning with the pros and cons of a virtual Pride and what youth can do to connect and survive during isolation. First of all, good morning. How are you, Jen?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. It's such an important discussion. Let's start with some of these cons. You're saying due to the lack of the usual support systems, being at home could mean, it's more of that feeling of isolation and nobody to help get through. So how do you then get, feel that connectivity to help out?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. Normally, of course, Pride, the celebrations happen all month long and involve a lot of, events to get together. And the good news is, even though the parade isn't happening, there's still a lot of great events happening. Community organizations, arts institutions, universities, schools, they're putting a lot of Pride events online. And there's workshops, trivia nights, virtual dance parties, and even though I recognize that this is a big loss not having the parade, I think the effort to put all this stuff online actually could increase accessibility to some of this programming for youth who don't live in the city.
That's right.
And it is, and another con you're saying is, people that are stuck at home and their family may not support them. This is a big problem and something that a lot of people might be struggling with.
I mean, I think we have two kinds of realities, or at least two. One, kids have been out of school since March break, and for some LGBTQ youth, that's a real loss. They've lost their connection to trusted adults in the school, to their friendships, to the clubs, and sort of their network. And they may be sheltering at home with families who might not be supportive, and certainly a lack of privacy. But for other LGBTQ youth, school wasn't such a welcoming place. Mm-hmm. And it might be that being at home with their parents, with people who love them, provides some relief. And both those possibilities can be true.
Yeah, that's the thing. Perhaps, the pro or silver lining there is that they're not experiencing harassment, be it in the workplace or in school because of that. But at the same time, it's harder to connect and talk to people. Definitely. So you've got tips, including reaching out. Who to reach out to? You're saying teachers, mentors, or anybody who you see that's actually very caring for support. Talk to someone.
Yeah. I think it's really important for young people to have supportive, caring relationships with non-family members. Teachers play that role, coaches, clergy. I think that, as much as LGBTQ youth can, they should be reaching out to their friends, having, Zoom calls or Skype calls, so social distancing visits. I think it's really important to kind of maintain these networks.
And this time, especially that there aren't going to be those in-person gatherings and celebrations that way, you say it's important to learn about the history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, we're not having the parade, but we have to remember that Pride began and continues to be a protest, and it was led, first of all, by Black and racialized trans women against police violence. So what's happening in these protests around the world against anti-Black and colonial violence is really important, and we have to see that Pride is part of that legacy. And so, yes, we don't have a parade, but we do have protest.
And Jen, lastly, you say sometimes we can look to art to really help us. So be it music, reading a book, catching up on a TV show or films that help address and comment on these issues and work through our own feelings.
Yeah, I think that it's amazing to see what organizations have done, putting online such great films that, wouldn't be normally accessible. And it's a great time to, I'm a binge watcher, so old gay and lesbian TV shows, seeing all of the resources that art galleries, museums, the archives are putting online for young people. So not just young people, for all of us to kind of really reconnect to that history.
Love that. Great
Jen,
tips.
Yeah, thank you so much for the tips this morning. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
You too.
All right, take care. Jen Gilbert from York University, professor there. Thanks so much. We'll be back with more BT after this.